How do I keep myself, my pets, and all of my belongings in my travel trailer safe, living this off-grid remote lifestyle, you know, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, like where I'm at right now in Florida National Forest? You know, it's just me out here. There's a lot of times not anyone around me for miles. And so there are a lot of steps, a lot of precautions I take to not just keep my own person safe, but also protect all of my belongings. And so that's what we're going to be covering today. I'll be sharing with you guys everything that I do to make sure that I have peace of mind while, not just while I'm here by myself, but also when I'm out adventuring, I'm out exploring and having fun, you know, giving myself peace of mind knowing that all of my possessions are going to be protected too. And so my name's David. This is Fate Unbound, and thank you guys so much for watching. First, I share my GPS location with my brother and my parents, and it's ongoing. It's always happening. They can find me whenever they need to in real time. It's just using my Google account on my phone. If something were to happen to me, if they couldn't get a hold of me, because I do talk to my brother and my parents fairly often, and so like if they were to try to call me and I'm not answering, they know where I'm at and they can see my location history also. And so if I'm incapacitated or for whatever reason, they can find me. They know my whereabouts. And so that's important to me, and it also gives them a lot of peace of mind also, knowing that, yeah, I can be found. And that is something that updates whether you have cell signal or not. GPS satellites are totally different from the cellular network. And so as long as, you know, my phone has a signal to those GPS satellites, then it's pinging my location in real time at all times. Yeah, and that just gives me a lot of peace of mind. This next subject, I'm gonna have to be a little vague on because YouTube doesn't really like you talking about it, but the major way that I make sure that I can protect myself from harm is that, you know, I do have a firearm, and in the vast majority of states, I am allowed to keep it loaded, and so I typically do. You know, if the worst were to happen, be it a large predator or humans, you know, I am able to protect myself in that way. And also I do almost always have my knife either on me or very close to me. If I'm driving, I take it with me in my truck. If I'm going hiking, you know, I loop it through my belt. It's not like a self-protection knife per se. It's more of a bushcraft type knife, sort of a multi-purpose all-arounder. But I do keep that on me or near me at all times in case, again, I need to protect myself from a predator on a hike or, yeah, from two-legged threats. And in the same vein of protection, you can see behind me, I've got Sweetie. She is a Rottweiler, full-bred Rottweiler, and that does give me a lot of peace of mind also. Her name is Sweetie. So that can kind of give you an idea of her temperament and her personality. She is just a big lover, gentle giant type of thing. But, you know, Rottweilers have very strong protective and guardian instincts. And so there's no doubt in my mind that if someone were a threat to me, that would kick in and she would do what she needed to do in that moment. And so having her with me on hikes, in the campground, just in general, gives me a lot of peace of mind too. And she does alert me to any strange sounds outside. She does like to hang out right there and stare out the windows on either side of my bed and just kind of play guardian, silent watcher until she sees something. If she sees a car or a human or, you know, she just explodes. She alerts me. She barks. And she's got a pretty strong bark on her too. It's pretty intimidating. So it's good knowing I've got her with me too. One question I get a lot about, you know, living this off-grid lifestyle is how can I leave basically my home and all of my possessions and my ATV just alone in the campsite and feel comfortable with that, knowing that it's possible that someone could come steal my ATV. You know, those are not hard to steal. They could just pop it in neutral and roll it up into the bed of a truck and boom, they're gone. Or, you know, if someone really wanted to, they would be able to break or cut the various locks I've got on the hitch and hook up and, you know, steal my whole home. It has wheels, but that's because, or it doesn't give me anxiety because of this device. This is the Monimoto 9, and what it is a GPS tracker that I have on my trailer and on my ATV. These are awesome. They can be placed in anything that you don't want to get stolen. And what makes these so special is that they pair up with this key fob that comes, and this is just the key to my Yamaha Raptor, my ATV. And while these are close enough to each other, it disarms the alarm on this device. So this goes in or on whatever you want to be able to track if it gets stolen. And once this key gets far away, so for instance, I leave this in my ATV, but this I take with me in my truck when I leave, and so these are far enough away. If someone were to move my ATV, this device is connected to the cellular network and GPS. It will send a push notification to my cell phone, and not only that, it will call my cell phone, which is great because, you know, push notifications we can ignore kind of easily, but phone calls are a lot harder to ignore. And when that alarm comes through, then I just go to the Monimoto app I have on my phone, and then I can track exactly where this is in real time using GPS. So to show you guys how it works, I'm gonna simulate a theft situation on my ATV here. I've got the Monimoto device, which I'm just gonna put under the seat, and the key fob here, I'm just gonna walk out that way until it's far enough away from the device to arm it. Now I'm gonna move the ATV all around to kind of simulate it being stolen. And I've got my cell phone in my pocket ready for that notification. Oh, there, I just got the notification. And here's the call.
This is your Monimoto device. Your Monimoto device is now in alarm. If you did not trigger the alarm, please check your Monimoto application and your motorcycle or another protected asset.
That's pretty cool, huh? And now, with the alarm going, I can just open up the app and follow exactly where the device and my ATV is in real time on my phone. If you guys want to check out the Monimoto 9 for yourself, I'll post links in the video description below. It's $169 for the device and the fob, and you get 2 months of the subscription for free, and then after that, it only costs $4 a month. And that subscription is just because there is a SIM card in this device that connects it to the cell network and GPS, and so yeah, you just have to pay to keep that going, but $4 a month, that's really cheap insurance to know that your expensive toys, your RVs, your vehicles are safe. And next, to protect my trailer from being stolen, I do have this big beefy hitch lock on the front, locking up the hitch, and I also have just a padlock on the hitch latch. And I know that things like this aren't, you know, completely foolproof. This isn't gonna stop someone that is bound and determined to get these off. The thing is it's when it comes to anti-theft measures, it's all about just adding friction layers to try and dissuade opportunistic thieves from doing anything about it. And that's really all you can do. Just add those friction layers, make it just a little harder, and then hopefully people are gonna be like, that's not worth it, or that's gonna take too much time, or that would be too loud, you know, stuff like that. And yeah, that's what I do with these. It makes me feel good knowing I've got something up here, and these aren't expensive either. And yeah, I'll also drop a link in the description to this hitch lock I've got too. I like it. It looks really beefy, and yeah, it gives me that peace of mind. And I also keep X-Chocks on my axles. They, you know, lock the trailer in place, and they also do reduce like motion inside the trailer, like when I'm moving around. It's even more so than just having the stabilizers down. And then they also have the added benefit of just, it's like one more thing that would have to be taken off or removed before the trailer itself could be moved. And so, yeah, if someone doesn't have like the right wrench on hand also, then that's another thing. It's just, like I said, another friction layer. And really that's all you can do if you're not on site. Another security step I've taken is I've replaced the locks on my storage bay doors with these tubular pin tumbler or radial locks. And the reason I did that is because if you have an RV or a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, go ahead and check the key that you have for your storage bay doors. If it says CH751 on it, that means that pretty much anyone that owns a motorhome, fifth wheel, travel trailer, whatever, they can unlock your doors with their key, because CH751 is the universal key code used by the vast majority of RV manufacturers. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, hell no. And I replaced all of my locks on my storage bay doors with the radial locks. And the reason I chose radial locks is because I figured that it would just be that much less likely for other people to have similar keys to mine. And I just also like how they look. They look kind of, I don't know, just clean. And then sort of in that same vein, I also replaced the front door latch as well, because I learned that while it's not as common for RV manufacturers to reuse key codes on the front doors, it does happen. And so that didn't sit well with me either. So I've replaced this as well. And I also like that it's got the key code on the front, so I don't have to use a key. And this particular model that I have also has a remote. And so that it just adds some convenience as well, while also adding peace of mind. And a precautionary measure I take is whenever I leave my campsite, I never leave any valuables outside unlocked. And so a lot of times I'll have like a ground solar panel out that's keeping like a power station charged, because oftentimes if I need to use my Starlink, I power it off of that power station and the ground solar panel, because unfortunately I just don't really have enough solar panels on the roof of my travel trailer right now to make up for having to power my Starlink essentially 24/7. I do shut it off at night, but anyway, so I've got these valuables outside, and it's just too easy for someone to like drive by, see that, and just pick it up and take it. Happens all the time, even in campgrounds and RV parks. Generators get stolen because man, people will steal anything if it's like just easy enough for them. It's like I was talking about earlier. It's mostly about stopping opportunistic thieves. And so, yeah, by not just like leaving any low-hanging fruit available for them to just yoink, then yeah, it just protects your stuff a lot better. It gives me a lot of peace of mind. I don't have to stress about, oh, I left the Starlink router outside. Oh, I left a power station or a solar panel or anything, you know? And yeah, so it's just, don't make it easy for them, guys. There is one valuable though that I have to leave outside, and that is my ATV. So in addition to having the Monimoto 9 GPS tracker on it at all times, I do lock my ATV to the frame of my travel trailer. Right now I'm just using like a heavy duty bike lock, but I do plan to upgrade to some large chain and a nice beefy padlock in the future, but for right now that'll do. And I do also keep it covered. And I think covering it just makes it like so that people aren't seeing something that's of value. Sure, they probably know that, like if they actually stop and think about it, they'll probably know that something valuable is under there, like obviously an ATV. But the fact that they can't really see it, it just, I think it's just a little bit of a mind game kind of thing. If you see something and you're instantly like, ooh, that looks nice. But all they're seeing is this cover, which isn't nearly as attractive. Obviously, the cover is to protect the ATV from the elements, from the rain, and most importantly, the sun. But I do like that it kind of obscures what's under it as well. And again, like I said, it's just all about those friction layers. It's locked to the frame, so they gotta have something to cut it. And then also it's covered, so they're not seeing like a cool badass ATV under there. And yeah, this, I feel pretty good about this. And of course, also the ATV is insured. I only have, comprehensive insurance on it, and so that's all I really care about. Is if it, geez, words are hard, man. If it were to get stolen, then I'm covered by insurance. I'll have the GPS tracker on it. It's locked to the frame of my trailer and it's covered. And so there's just like multiple things I'm doing. Yeah, and so I have complete peace of mind leaving the ATV out when I'm gone. And I should also mention that when I leave camp, I take the keys to the ATV and the lock that locks it to the frame of the trailer with me in the truck. I don't leave those keys in the truck, but I always take them with me. And that's just so if someone were to break into my trailer, then they couldn't easily just unlock and then start the ATV and ride it off, or easily steal that as well. And then these last few things might seem a little corny, but they do actually give me peace of mind. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think that's what's most important. They give you peace of mind so that you can go off and do what you want to do, have fun, and not constantly have this background anxiety of, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And so, yeah, another thing I do is I close any windows that are big enough for someone to fit through. I have 2 windows that are definitely big enough for people to fit through. Like, this is an emergency exit window, so it has to be big enough for your typical person to fit through. And so I won't leave this window open. I close it, latch it, and then I have another window that I make sure that I close and latch, just so, yeah, no one can just hop in to my home through my windows. I do have to leave my smaller windows open with my max fan on a lot of days for added ventilation, because, yeah, my pets a lot of times have to stay behind, especially if I'm going to the grocery store or something like that, doing some chores or running errands. So those windows stay open, but those ones aren't even big enough for me to fit through, and I'm not exactly like a large person. And so, yeah, I'm good with that. And what I also do is I close the blinds on nearly every one of my windows. Unless it's a hot day, then I leave the blinds open on those smaller windows. And that's just because, like, so people can't just like look through and see that I have valuables, especially in the back of my trailer where my desk is, my computer and my monitor. If I left my blinds open, people could just look through those windows and see, well, there are valuables right there, and then, you know, want to break in. So yeah, by making it very dark inside my trailer, closing those blinds so people can't easily see valuables, that does help give me peace of mind. And, you know, I think it honestly does reduce the chance of someone actually wanting to break in. And then the final little corny thing I do while I'm gone away from my campsite is I turn my radio on. And that's just so there's some sound inside because, you know, my truck's gone. And so any potential thief is going to see that there's no vehicle here and think, okay, well, the owners are gone. This is a free-for-all, you know, but by having the radio on, then, you know, there's noise inside. I just think that any potential thief is gonna come up here. They're not gonna be able to see into the trailer because I've got all my blinds drawn. They're gonna hear the radio on, and that's probably gonna make them think that someone's inside. It's just one more thing that I think is going to potentially dissuade some thieves, maybe not all, but you know, it's been 8 years now that I've been doing this, and I haven't had a single issue. Maybe knock on wood, as if that's real wood anyway, but this is all particle board. But yeah, it's been 8 years now and I haven't had any issues. So there you go, guys. That's all of the safety and security measures that I take to make sure that me and my pets and all of my belongings are safe, living this off-grid remote lifestyle that we do. You know, I just don't have a lot of anxiety when I leave my campsite. I don't have a lot of anxiety when I go to sleep at night. I feel like I've just taken all of the necessary precautions that I can. And at this point, it's just in fate's hands. And I feel like another really important thing is that if I don't feel safe in an area, if I get those like weird vibes, I don't stay there. I trust my gut instinct and I get out of there. And that has happened in a few places. And I think you guys should trust your instincts too. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful and you want to buy me a beer, you can go through this QR code right there. And I'll also drop a link to that in the video description, as well as to just like all of the products that I've shown in this video. If you want to pick some of those up for yourself. If you're an RVer, if you're interested in off-grid, remote type living, RV boondocking, that kind of stuff. But my name's David. This is Sweetie, and this is Fate Unbound. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh, good girl. She said bye too.